Welcome to Nagaland TV. You're watching Nltv News now. First headlines. Suruhoto Range Students Union organizes an educational tour on 14th and 15th March covering all the governmental schools across Suruhoto. Tour planned with an objective to identify the major loopholes in the education institutions of the region. Bharatiya Janata Party leader Thongam Biswajit Singh on Thursday refuses to comment on speculations doing the rounds about him in the race for the next chief minister of the state. Biswajit says Manipur BJP is not divided and central leadership will take the final call on the issue. Following the poll debacle of Congress in 5 states, senior Congress leader and member of the dissident G23 group of leaders met at senior Congress leader Ghulam Nabi Azad's residence on Wednesday night. After the meeting, G23 leaders asked party to adopt model of collective and inclusive leadership and decision-making at all levels. United Nations Security Council calls an emergency meeting on Thursday night to discuss the humanitarian situation in Ukraine. Meeting comes following a request by 6 countries including United Kingdoms, United States, France, Albania, Ireland and Norway. Poland's Caroline Bielawska crowned as Miss World 2021 in the pageant held in Puerto Rico. India's Manasa Varanasi failed to make it to top 6 and makes it to top 13 contestants list at the 11th position. And now the news in detail. The Suruhoto Range Students Union on 14th and 15th March held an educational tour covering all the governmental schools across Suruhoto. Notably, the main objective of the tour was to identify the major loopholes in the education institutions. During the tour, the union learned that there are a total of 20 governmental schools altogether with a population of 1,033 students. The union mentioned that the concept and privilege of midday meals were being misused. The union also stated that the classroom strength being more than that of the teachers is being identified as a major concern and further appealed to the education department to deploy the teachers in the area without any delay. Furthermore, the union discussed with the teachers of various institutions and came to a decision that 5th September every year starting from 2023 shall conduct a General Teachers' Day program whereby all the Suruhoto area teachers will come together along with its students to celebrate, cooperate and coordinate for the betterment of the educational institutions. The union further appealed to the citizens to continue to render their support and cooperate to bring equality, justice to the students' community and further stated that the union will stand strong and fight for the rights of the students and will ensure better and proper functioning of the schools and institutions. Commissioner of Nagaland through a notification informed all aspiring candidates to the post of LDA cum computer operator and drivers under the district administration that the syllabus and date for exam are as provided in the advertisement dated 23rd February 2022 on edistrict.nagaland. The notification further informed that the last date of submission of online applications is March 25, 2022 at 12 noon. Intending candidates have been informed to apply well in advance to avoid any disruptions at the last moment. Notably, all those who have applied should download their application from their respective dashboards to confirm all the details submitted. It is to be mentioned that any request for corrections after the last date of submission will not be entertained. Furthermore, the candidates have been reminded to download their admit cards with effect from April 7 onwards. Those candidates applying under persons with disabilities category have been asked to carry disability certificate during the examinations. Extra Assistant Commissioner of Futsero, Dr. Riku Kutso, on Tuesday inaugurated the FEC District Handloom NHDP under the theme My Handloom, My Pride. It may be mentioned that the handloom was held at Baptist Theological College ground in Futsero. Mr. and Miss Mega Model Hunt 2022 final audition is scheduled to be held on March 18 at Hotel Jaffa, Kohima from 9:30 a.m. onwards. Notably, the participants' age limit must be between 17 years to 28 years, while minimum height for male participants should be 5.7 and 5.5 minimum height for female participants. Furthermore, the registration fee has been fixed to Rs 300 per participant. Union Ministry for Road Transport and Highways on Wednesday inaugurated the first of its kind pilot project for hydrogen-based advanced fuel cell electric vehicle that will be huge shift for fossil fuel and towards the conservation of the environment. It may be mentioned that the Union Minister for Road Transport and Highways, Nitin Gadkari, Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas of India, Hardeep Singh Puri, and R.K. Singh, Minister of Power Mahendra Nath Pandey, Union Heavy Industries Minister were also present at the launch. Nltv Wrestling Institute under Khelo India was inaugurated on Tuesday by the Secretary of Youth Resources and Sports, Wezopi Kenyet Multipurpose Hall, Thenyuzumi Village under FEC District. Kenya, while addressing the program as special guest, encouraged more people to take up sports not just a hobby, but even as a career if one is willing to sacrifice and struggle for their dream. He stated that sports is a powerful tool to bring people together. Meanwhile, the Director of Youth Resources and Sports, Akumla Chuba, in her speech informed that the Ministry of Sports has taken initiatives to set up 1,000 Khelo India centers in all the districts of the country. She added, saying that 19 KICs has been taken up in the state, paving way for the players from the state and to national level, and stated that Venuzo will be the ambassador for the Nltv Wrestling Institute. She also informed that the schemes provided a one-time grant of Rs 5 lakhs for renovation and purchase of sports equipment along with Rs 200 for coaches' fees. Former Manipur Minister and Bharatiya Janata Party leader Thongam Biswajit Singh on Thursday refused to comment on speculations doing the rounds about him in the race for the next Chief Minister of the state. Speaking to media persons, Biswajit Singh said that he does not want to comment on the reports that he is in the race to become the next Chief Minister of Manipur. He also said that there is no groupism within Manipur BJP. He added that BJP is a democratic party and leadership will decide the CM issue. Meanwhile, Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren Singh visited Delhi and met Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Union Home Minister Amit Shah to discuss the formation of the new government in the state. Biren Singh, who arrived in the national capital on Tuesday, also met Defence Minister Rajnath Singh.
I cannot say anything as on that because as we had a meeting, they are as per the schedule they have fixed. But there was nothing discussed. We don't have any group among ourselves, and that is for sure. I cannot say anything in this regard because they will decide. And even you see, the BJP party is democratic party, and that is how they have actually appointed the central observers. And this is not only for Manipur, this is for all the other states also. So they will be coming and they may be what they will do, and I think so they will have a talk with all our legislators, and after that there may be a leader.
Name Rakpam Lokan Singh on Wednesday resigned as Manipur Pradesh Congress Committee President, taking responsibility for the defeat of the party candidates in the recently held assembly elections. He tendered his resignation a day after Congress interim President Sonia Gandhi asked for the resignations of the party chiefs of all 5 states where polls were held. Lokan, who took charge as party president last year, was defeated by BJP's Basanta Kumar Singh in the assembly polls. The Congress managed to secure only 5 seats in the 60-member Manipur Assembly. In the 2017 elections, it was the largest party with 28 seats. Following the poll debacle of Congress in 5 states and a row and accountability over leadership, senior Congress leader and member of the dissident G23 group of leaders met at senior Congress leader Ghulam Nabi Azad's residence on Wednesday night. After the meeting concluded, the G23 leaders said that the only way forward for the party is to adopt the model of collective and inclusive leadership and decision-making at all levels. The joint statement of the Congress G23 leaders demanded the Congress party to initiate dialogue with other like-minded forces to create a platform to pave the way for a credible alternative for 2024. The statement said that the meeting was called to inform the rest of the members about the discussion held in the Congress Working Committee and to decide on further strategy. Congress President Sonia Gandhi on Wednesday engaged 5 senior leaders to assess the post-poll situation in 5 states and suggest organizational changes following its electoral debacle. A day after the state unit chiefs were asked to resign, Rajya Sabha MP Rajini Patil has been asked to assess the situation in Goa, Jairam Ramesh in Manipur and Ajay Maken in Punjab, where the Congress lost power to the Aam Aadmi Party. Congress leader Jitendra Singh will to assess the post-poll situation in Uttar Pradesh and suggest changes, while Avinash Pandey has been asked to do so in Uttarakhand. The Congress fared poorly in the just concluded assembly elections by failing to win back any of the BJP-ruled states of Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Goa and Manipur, and losing Punjab to the AAP. The Congress Working Committee had discussed the reasons for the poll debacle and authorized Sonia Gandhi to initiate necessary changes in these states after the drubbing. Mrs. Gandhi Tuesday had asked the chiefs of its Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Punjab, Goa and Manipur units to submit their resignations. The Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha were adjourned on Wednesday till March 21 in view of Holi. With Holi falling on Friday, the 2 houses will also not function on Thursday to enable members to visit their constituencies during the festival. The Lok Sabha on Wednesday approved the demands for grants for Railway Ministry for 2022 to 2023. The second half of the budget session of the Parliament began on March 14 and will conclude on April 8. The first half of the budget session began on January 31 and concluded on February 11. Former India off-spinner Harbhajan Singh could follow the footsteps of the illustrious teammate Sachin Tendulkar as a member of parliament in the Rajya Sabha, as he is likely to be Aam Aadmi Party's candidate for the seat in the upper house. AAP, after sweeping the polls in Punjab, formed the new government with Bhagwant Mann being sworn in as the chief minister on Wednesday, and according to reports, AAP is eyeing to send an icon from the state to upper house of parliament, and one of the foremost names to have emerged is that of 41-year-old of spinner. As per sources, the top leadership of AAP, including the new CM, has approached Harbhajan Singh with an offer to become their nominated candidate for the next Rajya Sabha term. Harbhajan, who has taken over 700 wickets in an international career spanning over 18 years, recently retired from the active sport. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday addressed the valedictory function of the 96th Common Foundation course at Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration via video conferencing. Modi also inaugurated the new sports complex and dedicated revamped Happy Valley complex to the nation. Notably, the 96th Foundation course is the first Common Foundation course at LBSNAA based on the principle of Mission Karam Yogi with new pedagogy and design. Emergency meeting of the United Nations Security Council has been called at 12:30 a.m. on Thursday night Indian time to discuss the humanitarian situation in Ukraine. The meeting comes following a request by 6 countries including the United Kingdom, United States, France, Albania, Ireland and Norway. UK's permanent mission to the UN remarked that Russia is committing war crimes and targeting civilians. Russia's illegal war on Ukraine is a threat to them and for which the 6 countries have called for a meeting. President Joe Biden on Wednesday said that U.S. is sending more anti-aircraft, anti-armor, weapons and drones to Ukraine to assist in its defense against Russia. The president formally announced that his administration is sending an additional $800 million in military assistance to Ukraine, making a total of $2 billion in such aid sent to Kyiv. Notably, in the last week, about $1 billion in aid has been sent to Ukraine. Biden further stated that U.S. will give Ukraine the arms to fight and defend themselves through all the difficult days ahead. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky also delivered a video address to members of U.S. Congress to provide more help to save his young democracy. On day 22 of Russian invasion of Ukraine, the warfare continues, resulting several incidents of attacks and casualties reported. At least 1 person was killed and 3 wounded after remains of a downed missile hit a residential building in the Ukrainian capital Kyiv. In another development, Ukrainian military forces have dealt a punishing blow to the airport in Kherson, which Russian troops had seized early in the war. Ukraine's military said it hit the airport on Tuesday. Russia seized the southern port city without a fight in the first days of the war. On the other hand, Russian forces destroyed a theater in the city of Mariupol, where hundreds of people were sheltering. Local officials say that missile strikes and shelling have killed more than 2,300 people. The southern seaport has been under attack for almost all of the 3-week war in a siege that has left people struggling for food, water, heat and medicine. In a preliminary decision, a case brought by Kyiv, the International Court of Justice, Judge Joan Donuk on Wednesday ordered Russia to immediately cease military actions in Ukraine. The judges added that Russia must ensure that other forces under its control or supported by Moscow should not continue the military operation. However, Moscow filed a written document with the court saying that the ICJ should not impose any measures. Presiding Judge Joan own father stated that the court had enough information that the two countries do disagree about the interpretation of the Genocide Convention to make the preliminary decision. Poland's Karolina Bielewska has been crowned as the 70th Miss World on Thursday, while Indian-American Sri Shaini from the United States was announced as the first runner-up, and Olivia Yates from Cote d'Ivoire was the second runner-up. The international beauty pageant, which is also the longest-running pageant, took place on March 17 IST at Coca-Cola Music Hall, Puerto Rico. It is to be mentioned that the finale, which was to take place in December, got postponed due to the outbreak of coronavirus. A 7.4 magnitude earthquake hit northeast Japan on Wednesday night, killing 4 people and almost 97 others were injured, causing a 1-meter tsunami in the Miyagi prefecture. Local electricity providers said that around 7 lakhs homes in Tokyo and 1,56,000 in Japan's northeast region had lost power immediately after the earthquake hit. Nuclear authorities said that no abnormalities had been detected at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant site, which is being decommissioned. J Meteorological Agency early on Thursday lifted a low-risk advisory. That is all for now. Keep watching Nagaland TV for more news and updates.
Nagaland TV, Sop Manulaga Awas. Watch us live on Geo TV and on your television sets as well. For Dimapur viewers, we are on channel number 10 in Global Chapter, and for Kohima and Mokokchung viewers, switch to channel number 138 on Horn.